Welcome back, Seminole fans. Noles insiders Lane Hurt and Tim Linnefelt with you. Thursday practice has wrapped up, and the Noles are getting ready to head to Louisville. After practice, head coach Jimbo Fisher gave us a little preview of who's in and who's out for this week. Let's get to the list. Out for the week, of course, Derwin James we knew about, but the ones we didn't, Derek Kelly on the offensive line, he's out. Pig Harrison as a wide receiver, he's out too. But probably most notably on this list are the guys who are back. Creemar, Wilson Bell on the line, Freddie Stevenson in the backfield, and Nate Andrews on defense. Some pretty big names coming back for the Seminoles.
Most importantly, I think you have to start with those offensive linemen, Creemar and Wilson Bell. This will be the first time this season that Florida State can actually play a game with the 5 linemen that it seemed to have settled on as starters by the end of fall camp, with Roderick Johnson and then Creemar, Alec Eberle, Wilson Bell, and Rick Leonard. We sort of saw Rick Trickett settle on that 5, and then through an injury to one player or an ailment to another, those guys haven't been able to play together really in a few weeks. So the fact that those guys are able to get back together, get your 5 top choice linemen, and also give them a chance just to get back in the same huddle and get some continuity and familiarity with each other, it's a great thing for Florida State. And for a line that I know is looking to take another step forward this week, getting all 5 of those guys together is, it's an obvious huge first step, but I don't think you can overstate what a big deal that is for them.
And an unheralded name coming back is Freddie Stevenson, a guy who does so many things that don't even show up in the scorebook. Coach Fisher said himself tonight that he gets mighty uncomfortable when Freddie Stevenson isn't out there.
Exactly, and they don't have a lot of seniors on offense, and Freddie is one of them, and he certainly knows the offense is valuable both as a blocker, a receiver, and sometimes a ball carrier. And we talk about experience. Freddie is the experienced guy. When you look at the next fullback on the depth chart, I have Colton Plant, and then it goes down to Gabe Neighbors, who, while we have high expectations, is still a true freshman in his 3rd game of collegiate experience. So getting Freddie back, getting his knowledge of the offense and everything is definitely a big deal.
Another senior on the defensive side, Nate Andrews back, especially with Derwin James out. What value does he bring to the defense?
I think it's twofold. One, I think Nate's a pretty nice safety, especially in run support. He kind of has that physical build, almost like could maybe be a sort of a hybrid linebacker if you want. We saw him play that role a few years ago as a freshman. Getting him back in the fold is definitely a good thing on the field. But then also, I think it's just a rallying point for a lot of those defensive backs. I think Nate's a pretty popular guy among the secondary, especially some of the younger guys. So to get him back out there, get kind of an emotional lift after what had to, I think, be a tough week once they learned that Derwin James would not be available. Hopefully, you like to think that getting Nate back there could maybe mitigate that a little bit.
There you have it, Seminole fans. We have much more for you coming up. We have the game preview on Friday, our 3 keys on Saturday. Tim, something stick out from what we talked about in those you want to give a sneak peek on?
I think the thing that I would look at mostly as it relates to Florida State and how they can win this game is the turnovers. And like we all roll our eyes and say that turnovers can decide every game. But Louisville, they'll turn the ball over for as much as they move the ball, and they rank first in the nation in scoring offense and in total offense. They also have turned it over 6 times in games against Charlotte and Syracuse. Florida State, meanwhile, has forced 7 turnovers in games against Ole Miss and Charleston Southern. If Florida State can keep that ratio up, force some turnovers, get some scores early in the game, I think that really works in their favor to kind of hush that crowd and maybe put some doubt into Louisville's mind, because there's no doubt that, so to speak, that they're feeling really confident right now.
There you have it, Seminole fans. We're on our way to Louisville in a couple hours, so make sure you stick with us. Like we said, the game preview, 3 keys, and then after the game, Tim will have his written analysis. We'll have highlights and video reaction from head coach Jimbo Fisher and players, all for you on Seminoles.com. So for Tim Linnefelt, I'm Lane Hurt. Go Noles.